Hello, my name is Sheryl Shaffer, and welcome to another program in the Veterans Helping Veterans TV series. There is no more important topic facing this generation veterans than employment. How do we get jobs and training opportunities for our veterans? Today's show is the Alameda County Veterans Employment Committee, and I would like to introduce the chairman, Eli Soto, and from the EDD office in Sunnyvale, I would like to introduce Patrick Keenan, who is the local veterans representative from that office. So, Eli, can you tell me what a Veterans Employment Committee is and what they do?
Yes, the Alameda County Veterans Employment Committee is in support of the California Veterans EDD office and representatives. We also support the public educational systems and government agency in helping all veterans find gainful employment.
And really, the VEC is also, it's a collaboration with veteran service organizations in the community, and VSOs are American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, Disabled American Veterans, Vietnam Veterans of America. Those members are volunteers, and they join and create veterans employment committees. We could not do what we do as vet reps without veteran volunteers from those groups participating in our veteran employment committees. So, Patrick, can you tell me a little bit about work opportunity tax credits and why that is such an important program for veterans and employers to know about?
Yes. Last year, on November 22nd, President Obama signed the Vow to Hire a Hero Act, which also included the WOTC, which is the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And this is a very important bill that affects veterans directly as well as corporate America. There were three things that President Obama brought forward from the old Work Opportunity Tax Credit and also made some additional improvements to these three things. Item number one was that if a veteran has a service-connected disability that also has a VA disability rating associated with that disability, and if that veteran applies for a job and the cap on that veteran's salary for that particular job at the company is $24,000, that corporation today can now write off as a tax credit for each veteran of $9,600.
So they're basically almost getting half of that person's salary back as a tax break.
Correct. The second thing that President Obama included in this bill is if a veteran is not unemployed for 6 months, this vet that I just spoke about, if they are unemployed for 6 months, service-disconnected disability, then the corporation gets a $9,600 tax credit. A veteran who does not have a service-connected disability or does have a service-connected disability and applies for a position that pays $12,000 per year, that company receives a $4,800 tax credit for that veteran. The third item that President Obama brought forth is those veterans who are on food stamps, if they are hired by a corporation and the salary cap is $6,000 if it's for a full-time or part-time position, that corporation can now declare a tax credit of $2,400. So those are the three things that were brought forth from the previous WOTC. The three new items that President Obama incorporated into this executive action is that the first one, those organizations that are tax exempt or are known as 501Cs, if they bring a veteran on board, those organizations now have a tax credit of $6,240 for each veteran that they bring on board. This is brand new. The second item that President Obama included in his bill is if a veteran has been unemployed for 4 weeks, and if they apply for a position at a corporation and the job is capped out at $6,000 annually, that corporation receives a tax credit of $2,400. Okay? And the third thing that the president included in this bill is if a veteran finds a position at a corporation that pays roughly $14,000, that corporation will receive a tax credit of $5,600 per year, the first year that the veteran works. So
you have 3 levels or 3 layers of tax breaks. So if you're not service connected, you get the $2,400?
Yes.
So there's different tiers.
Yes. President Obama was thought about those veterans who may not have a service-connected disability, but he also wanted to encourage corporate America to hire those vets who may not have a service-connected disability but are still looking, who are looking for employment. The mechanism, the way how this corporate tax works is the veteran will basically go to their local EDD office if they're unemployed, tell the state worker that they are unemployed, they're looking for employment, then the state will verify, yes, the vet is truly on unemployment. Then the veteran fills out pre-screening paperwork. The first document that the vet will fill out is the ETA 9061, and that's the Employment Training Administration. And that document can be downloaded from either the DOL website or from your state website. The second document that both the veteran and the corporation sign together, and it becomes a legal document after both parties sign, that is Form 8850, and that can be downloaded either from your state's website or from the IRS. Okay? After the veteran is hired, then the corporation must submit both documents to the EDD office within their state, which is normally located at the Capitol, within before the 28th day that the veteran has been working there. One last point, President Obama included in this bill, the corporations can file those tax credits after the veteran has been brought on board, either 2 years previous, before the veteran started working at the corporation, or the corporation can amortize the tax credit over a 20-year period. So President Obama has not only helped our veterans, but he has also helped the corporations within America to grow their business.
Well, let's talk a little bit about why veterans are such good employees to begin with. Because one of the things, now we're all veterans here, we're all Army veterans by coincidence, is they certainly teach you teamwork.
Yes, they do. I think the services and any branch that you serve in, you become a leader. The armed forces teach our men and women how to lead, how to make quick decisions, and also how to get the job done. And corporate America needs more people, particularly our veterans, who have that skill set already to come in and to help turn companies around, and also to be profitable at the same time.
Right, because veterans really know how to hit the ground running and really get the job done, sometimes no matter what it takes.
All of our veterans that I have seen in our office have the skill set to compete in this economy today.
So some of the things that the employers are looking for when they are interviewing candidates are leadership and teamwork, character, structure and discipline, expertise. They want to know if you can work in a dynamic environment and solve problems
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
Being effective, that you're successful, you have a track record, resiliency, loyalty, and that, let's be honest here, employers are looking for a tax break, and that's good PR for their company as well. It's a win-win for everybody
It's
involved.
a win-win for everybody. And veterans are team players because the time that they spent in the service, they were taught and they have learned to become team players and to make everybody on their team successful. So they always look outward, not so much to make themselves successful, but to do those activities that's going to make the whole team successful.
You know, but there's still veterans that remain unemployed. And
Yes.
why is that? Some of the reasons for that is sometimes it's hard for them to get their skill set transferred from their military occupation to a civilian career. And that's certainly something that you help a lot of veterans with, Eli, right?
Yes, I do. I work as a senior director at Unitech College, and we definitely, do see that veterans are in great need of retraining, and it's important that they get the training in terms of meeting the market demand for skilled labor. And veterans are the best, in terms of training. And so there is, Obama has done a great job, as Pat has mentioned, in providing these sort of benefits under the current post 9/11 GI Bill. I think it's a fabulous bill.
It's the best GI Bill in history.
I think so. I think he's done a tremendous job in terms of the veterans. So we also have another program that's tied into the tax incentive program, and that is the Veterans Retraining is it an adjustment program or
Yes.
assessment program?
Yes.
That's another great program. It allows veterans, all veterans that are unemployed, to actually select to not just go through to local community colleges, but post-secondary colleges for, training that can get them to work in as little as anywhere from 8 to 12 months. So it's just a great program, and I'm really happy to say that many of the veterans utilizing these programs are going to benefit greatly in attending retraining programs at schools, post-secondary schools.
I want to talk a little bit about, because I am a retired EDD vet rep, and I really think it's kind of important for people to know a little bit about the history of our department and why vet reps, how they came into prominence or being, if you will, and that is when the veterans came home from World War I, there were no jobs. So Congress enacted what they call the Wagner-Peiser Act to put job training offices throughout each state in the United States. So in that position, vet rep positions were created to outreach to the veterans so they wouldn't come home to no future or having to sell apples on the street corner the way it was after World War I for a lot of these veterans. So I'm really proud that I was a vet rep, and it was the best job I ever had. It was a great job because you really learn to empower others through this job. And the other thing is, we can't say this enough. We're all educators here. We're all trying to inform educate and motivate veterans to learn about your benefits. Because what happens over time is if you don't get enrolled at the VA, or if you don't use your GI Bill, guess what? That's not going to be funded for a future generation of veterans.
That's right.
So the more people that use the benefits that we have, that we fought for, that Congress has awarded us, and that's why these groups exist. American Legion, Vietnam Veterans of America, DAV, VFW, all these groups exist for two reasons. One is to help disabled veterans in hospitals, but the real reason is to enact legislation on behalf of veterans. That's what the president's done here.
Yes.
This is legislation for the veterans because the VFW, the American Legion, the DAV, they have annual conventions, they have state conventions, they have national conventions, and they rise up and they say, this is what the veterans tell us they need. How do we get these bills passed? How do we get legislation written? That's why these groups exist. So it comes back to, if you're a veteran and you're looking for a job or training, here's a trainer, here's a person that has the jobs. Come in, meet us, talk to us.
And to that point, the First Lady is also doing a tremendous amount of work highlighting those issues that our veterans are facing today, coming home from Afghanistan and earlier Iraq with PTSD as well as other brain injuries. And so both President Obama and the First Lady have done a tremendous amount of publicity, educating the American public what the veteran population is going through today.
You know, Pat, I'd like to add to that. I think it's definitely important. There's certainly a disconnect between veteran groups and agencies like the ones that we have and the general public. We don't have enough non-veteran volunteers really supporting veteran efforts. And so it's almost like we're a very small group. We're like a voice crying out in the wilderness, and it's like nobody's really hearing us, and the few that do are really committed, and that's all well and great. But we definitely need the general public to really, really get involved. And I really love some of the other groups that are forming now. Mothers for Veterans, that's a very fabulous group. So I really like to make that this statement and outreaching the general public to definitely get more involved.
See, here's the deal. The federal government can only do so much.
That's correct.
Okay? They're limited. Everybody knows, there's no secret here, the government's broke. So the government has these programs in place, but really when it comes down to it, it's the community involvement that make the programs work.
That's correct.
Without the people being willing to join the American Legion, AMVEST, VFW, DAV, VBA, all these groups, without the people joining those groups, we wouldn't have the benefits that we have for veterans to begin with.
Correct.
And, you know, we have veterans that have their issues. We all know there's a lot of issues facing these veterans. Post-traumatic stress disorder, military sexual trauma, depression, just huge, huge issues. But we as a country need to show these people that we understand their sacrifice, that we understand what they went through, and that we genuinely, that's the phrase, genuinely want to help them. But we can't do it for you. It comes down to personal choice and how do you want, what is it that you want out of your life? Do you want a career? Well, get the education. He's an educator. Go to a school. If you don't want to go to school and you have the training, here's the man with the job. Go see an EDD vet rep.
And the federal government and the states are working together today. The one program that all the states have is the Federal Work Investment Act, and this is nationally. Each state has a WIA group, and I'll keep my comments to the state of California. This year, the state of California is receiving $454 million to be distributed through the EDD organization, the field offices of EDD, the one-stop career centers, and also the local community organizations, as Sheryl just stated, this year. So that's how the money is being distributed. And the whole purpose of the WIA, Work Investment Act, is to put Californians and Americans back to work. And so the federal and the state governments, the county and the city governments are all working together. So there's a great deal of synergism between all of these government agencies trying to help veterans as well as non-vets as well. Now, the organization that manages all this funding that the states are receiving is the Work Investment Board. And the Work Investment Board is made up of managers and executives from the business sector, from the labor sector, from the education sector, and also from the community organizations as well. Then there's a executive WIB that reports directly to Governor Brown, and they meet with Governor Brown and they suggest what programs should be funded within the state of California to distribute this $454 million. And so because of all these government agencies being able to work together, we are helping a lot of Californians, and we're also helping a lot of veterans as well.
And one of the things that we really want to emphasize is the creation of job clubs.
Well,
can you tell me what that is?
Yeah, but before we cover that, I'd like to go into a little more detail what EDD does to help the veteran. And Pam Harris, who's the director of the state Employment Development Department, writes to us every month in her emails, and she has really encouraged us to not only make the veterans a priority when they walk into a EDD office or into a career one-stop center. She has told us many times to be a passionate ambassador for the veterans, for their rights and their benefits. And so we do something here a little differently than what other states do. Rick DeReich, who is on the executive with the state EDD, and his counterpart in Southern California have said to make the EDD more effective in making the veteran a priority, they created a position called the Veteran Service Navigator. And every EDD employee who works in the office and all of the one-stop partners have gone through state training to be a Veteran Service Navigator. And what this navigator does is they work in the front desk. So when a client comes in, every client that comes into the office is asked, how can we help you? And the second question is, are you a veteran? Okay. When the client says, yes, I'm a veteran, then the Veteran Service Navigator will take that veteran to an office and interview that veteran and basically go through 5 subjects. Okay. First thing is, do you have health employment? If they don't have health insurance, then we actually set up an appointment to have physicians from the VA to come in to our EDD office and to actually give the veteran a physical. We verify, do they have housing issues? If they do, we take care of those. We also verify if they have unemployment insurance issues. we take care of those. We also verify if they have any food issues. We take care of those issues. And then the last issue, unemployment. Okay, if they have unemployment issues, then they will either go work with a DVOP, will remove those barriers of education and financial issues that that veteran has. We also have our one-stop centers. They have the VEEP program where they will pay for the education for the veteran. We also have the VRAP program where the federal government, if you're between the ages of 35 and 60, the federal government will pay you to go back to school, $1,400 a month.
And you heard that right. The VRAP program just started July.
That's a program that I was talking about. It's a great program.
That is an excellent program.
A great, great program.
So the vet can receive a little over $1,400 a month, $1,400 per month for 12 months.
For 12 months. That's great.
Because there's a lot of people that have been in their job for a long time and they got laid off on unemployment.
Right.
And they just need a little bit of retraining. They don't need a college degree, but they just need that intensive one-on-one training. So we would like to encourage any veterans out there who may be seeking employment to please hook up with your local employment development department vet rep in the county that you live. Eli, do you have any closing comments you'd like to make?
Yes, I'd like to say is you have tremendous benefits that are entitled to you. Some of us who have served have never received such tremendous benefits. And I encourage you to reach out to both the EDD offices and your veteran representatives, and as well as the County of Alameda representatives like myself in our organization, and we'll help you find what is it that you need assistance with. If it's shelter, food, employment, this is what we're all about. This is why we're here.
We are Veterans Helping Veterans. Thank you for watching Veterans Helping Veterans TV.